Welcome to Monday's edition of Student of the Gun Radio. I am your host, Paul Markle, and I'm sitting inside of the Glass Case of Emotion Studios located at Student of the Gun University in Biloxi, Mississippi. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Jared is over on the other side of the glass. He's outside the glass there. Jared is the studio engineer, the producer of the show, the man of many parts, the one who actually is instrumental in making sure that all of this electronic gee-whizzery gets put together and sent out through the interwebs and the atmosphere and all that.
I do the easy part.
You do the easy part.
Yeah. I know that this topic is depressing to me, and there's no way that I could talk for 45 minutes about it, so I'm glad I don't have to do that.
Well, we're not going to spend an entire 45 minutes on it, but we are going to deal with it because it needs to be dealt with. And I'm getting quite frankly, a little bit tired of dealing with it because I feel like an insane person. I feel like that I'm living in some type of a weird, bizarre Twilight Zone episode where there is a problem, and rather than solve the problem, everyone wants to talk about it and pretend. It's not hard. It's not rocket surgery. It's a problem that could be solved if we had the fortitude. And I guess that's it, Jared. I guess that really is the stumbling block. Fortitude. Or a lack of weakness. But for 30 years, we've been raising our children to be weaklings. We've been raising our children to be soft. And now the people that are all grown up are soft. They have soft minds and soft bodies. And even though the wolf is right there at the door, I don't know what to do. What should we do about this wolf? Maybe if we pretend the wolf isn't there, it'll go away. Maybe if we give the wolf some food, it'll leave us alone. Maybe if we talk to the wolf and tell the wolf that we're... And you know what? I don't even know why I'm using the term wolf, because we're so sissified and cityfied that it means nothing to us. It's like a storybook. It's not real. We live in this artificial world, and a world of artificiality where everything in our world comes to us on a little 2-inch by 3-inch screen. We don't sweat. We don't go out into the sun. We certainly don't exert effort and have sore muscles, because that's uncomfortable. We live everything through our fantasy lives. Yeah, I'm talking to you, fantasy this and that people. How about you get out and actually sweat? Oh, I like my fantasy football. You know what? Your nation is crumbling beneath you, and you're playing games. That's just a prelude of what we're going to talk about, and you're like, wow. If you are just now listening and tuning into Student of the Gun Radio because someone told you that you should, or you accidentally stumbled upon it, congratulations, welcome. You are one of the fortunate few. But here's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to reach down really, really, really deep inside, deeper probably than you have reached for a long time. And you're going to have to find some fortitude, some intestinal fortitude, some courage. You're going to have the courage to close your mouth and open your ears. You're going to have the courage to flush out all the nonsense that you've been fed by the big media for your whole life, essentially. You're going to have to do that. You're going to have to be quiet, and you're going to have to listen. And then you're going to have to listen again, because you're not going to get it the first time. But we'll plant the seed today. All right, today is Monday, and because it is Monday, we have our SWAT Fuel Warrior of the Week. Now, to be a SWAT Fuel Warrior of the Week here on Student of the Gun Radio, it's real simple. You just call in 682-207-SOTG, and there is a very pleasant voicemail message, and you leave a message. And if Jared and I think that it is worth not just us answering, but it's worth the rest of the audience hearing, well, then we pick it out of the pile, and you get to be the Warrior of the Week. And when you are the Warrior of the Week, then you're automatically eligible for a free bottle of SWAT Fuel 9mm Plus P. SWAT Fuel is special weapons and tactics for the body. It works. It's not just for professional athletes. It's for occupational athletes. It's for anybody who has a desire to be more physically active or additionally physically active, or has hit the wall, and they're like, man, I've hit the wall and I don't know how to get over it. SWAT Fuel can help you out.
Jump.
Jump. It's good stuff. Check them out at very least at SWATfuel.com, and if you decide to make a purchase, I want you to use the special promo code that's only for you students of the gun. It's SOTG2015. But that's not the topic this week. The topic is this. Jared's going to go ahead and play the theme. He's going to play the question, and then we're going to address it.
I actually want to say something first about the SWAT Fuel. As you guys in the grad program know, because I posted pictures on the grad program Facebook group, Dad and I went to the range on Friday morning, and the last week or so, I've been hitting the gym pretty hard because I found out I have a fight. I have an actual contract for a fight in Baton Rouge. So if any of you in Baton Rouge and you want to go to the fight, contact me, Jared at studentofthegun.com. But my point is that
Do they have to talk to you to go to the fight, or is it open to the public?
No, it's open to the public, but
okay.
I'm special, so you should contact me.
Okay.
But my point is that I haven't been getting much sleep. I stay at the gym pretty late, and then I get up in the morning and I come in. And I took some 9mm plus P Friday morning before we went to the range because I was just dragging. We got up at, 7 or so? Which isn't really that early to you guys, but I was up until 2 a.m. almost, a little bit after. And so I got up at 7 o'clock. I was pretty tired, took the 9mm plus P, went to the range, and I was good until we left the range. And then I was getting hungry and getting shaky from that. But the 9mm plus P got me through it. So there's my pimping for the 9mm plus P.
That's your 9mm pimping?
Yep, 9mm pimping.
Well, congratulations. Congratulations. So then what?
Hi, this is Chris from Down East Maine. I just listened to the Thursday episode where you talked about suppressors, and I was wondering, can you buy a suppressor that works with more than one caliber? Thank you. Bye.
Chris, thank you for your question. Email Alex, ALEX, at studentofthegun.com. Send her your email, obviously, but send her your name, your mailing address, your phone number, and please type your email in the body.
That way we can just forward it on to the folks at SWAT Fuel, and it makes it easy for them. That is an excellent question. And as a matter of fact, a lot of folks in the know here lately have they've changed their way of purchasing suppressors. Now, when you say caliber, it really is not so much the cartridge itself. I want you guys to think about this. It's not so much the cartridge itself as it is the diameter of the hole. You're like, Well, I'll give you a good for instance. A 308, a suppressor that's good for 308 Winchester is also good for 300 Blackout. Oh. And you say, one that's good for 308 Winchester is also good for 6.8 SPC. Oh, I see where you're going with that. Yeah. Or the 7.62 by 40? 7.62 by 40 Wilson Tactical, that load. Also, you're like, I wonder if I went to one of these suppressor manufacturers and I purchased a 30 caliber can, could I use it with my 5.56? Yes, you can. What a lot of guys in the know are, and let's face facts, in the United States of America today, because of our draconian laws, because of the fact that we're upside down and we're behind many advanced countries as far as quieting our noisy firearms, it does take time. It takes time and effort and a $200 transfer tax stamp from Big Brother in order for you to legally purchase your silencer or suppressor. Unless, of course, you are an employee of the state, and then you are granted immunity from that because you're just so special. But for the rest of us peasants, when we go to our Class 3 guy, we have to fill out the paperwork. We give him the money. He fills it out. We sign it. We mail it in, give him the check, and then they throw your paperwork application, or if you do it online, regardless of what have you, it goes into a stack. and eventually they process it, and eventually you get your super cool permission slip from the government, and you go to your Class 3 guy and you pick up your suppressor. Well, after you've done that once or twice, or maybe even only once, you realize, wow, that was kind of a, it's doable, but do I want to do that for every single time? Or would it be smarter for me to get one can? That's why we initially recommend that you get a 22 suppressor can, because it's good for rifles and pistols. It's relatively inexpensive. It's a good way to kind of stick your feet in the water and kind of test the waters. I mean, let's face it, most of us out there, it's a lot easier for you to drop, a price tag of $200 plus or minus dollars on a 22 suppressor than it is $995 on one for a 5.56, or even $1,000 or more. So, but let's say you want to suppress a rifle, and if you get a dedicated 5.56 suppressor, rock on, that's fantastic, but then you're really restricted to basically just 22 caliber or less. But if you have, like, for instance, I'll give you a great for instance. Jared and I, we reviewed the Colt LE901 rifle. Sadly, I know that Colt is in financial straits. Jared, how ironic was that we were listening to the radio this morning, they were talking about Colt being in bankruptcy.
Back when
in the 1800s.
Yeah. That's funny.
It's like, geez Louise.
It's like they had one job and 200 years to do it.
You had one job. But anyway, the LE901 is a fantastic rifle because not only is it a .308 Winchester semi-auto rifle that works exceedingly well, but you can just take off the .308 upper, and they have a 223/5.56 upper that you can swap, put it on the same lower. So one lower receiver, one serial number, two uppers, two different calibers. Well, what we did is we got a 30 caliber suppressor silencer from AAC, and I put the identical adapters on both the 5.56 and .308 uppers. So what do I got? Well, regardless of which upper is attached to the rifle, I can use the same suppressor, and it works on both. So if you're looking for something like that, like I said, a lot of guys who hunt hogs and varmints and predators like the 6.8 cartridge, the 6.8 SPC. As a matter of fact, hunters are the ones that are keeping that cartridge alive. Or .308 or .300 Blackout or what have you. If you get a 30 caliber can, you can, now you're not going to be able to shoot huge stuff through that. I think a lot of the cans, the 30 caliber cans, are rated up to like 30-06. Don't quote me on that. But your really super big stuff, like your 338 Lapuas and what have you, if you want to quiet one of those monsters down, you're going to be spending some money, and they can do it for you, but it's not cheap. But your average dude, let's say you got a 308 bolt action Savage rifle, and your state, whether it's Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, whatever, has made it legal for you to hunt suppress now. Rock on. Get a can, get that thing threaded, get an adapter, put it on there, and drive on, brothers and sisters. So that was an excellent question, and the answer to the question is absolutely yes. There is a great way to use one can on different types of rifles. A lot of guys are doing that. A lot of guys out there in the know are going for dedicated 30 caliber cans so they can put them on their Blackouts, their 308s, their 5.56s, and what have you. So thank you for sending that call in, and thank you very much for being the Warrior of the Week. And if you guys have got a question, you too can be Warriors of the Week. Don't forget. All right, before we get into things that are going to make me annoyed and angry and depressed, let's go ahead and let's tell them a little bit about what we did on Friday. Friday, we decided to go to the range early in the morning, and Jared already talked about that, but we took some things out to the range to test and evaluate. Century Arms sent us a Fury shotgun, F-U-R-Y, like Fury or Furious. It's their 12-gauge semi-automatic magazine-fed gun. Now, they've had these out for a while, and the original one that we tested a couple of years ago had the box magazines that went straight up into a magwell, kind of like your M16, and the new one, they rock in like an AK. The first one that I tested, the first Fury shotgun that I tested, didn't like anything other than high brass. and you shotgun guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I could shoot, the high brass double-aught buck, and it would cycle it, no sweat. Bird shot, skeet loads, light stuff, not really so much. And you say, well, big deal, I'm going to use it for defense, so I'm only going to shoot double-aught buck or slugs or whatever through it. Well, rock on, but that's an expensive training session. Let's face it. If you're shooting all double-aught buck, that can get pricey really quick. Most shotgun training, you shoot some double-aught buck, but then a whole ton of bird shot. So when we got out to the range with the new Fury shotgun, I was kind of thinking, man, I hope this works, but we'll see. So the first load that I fired through it was from Noble Sport. It's a law enforcement, and they're calling it a low recoil double-aught buck. Put a magazine of that in it. Boom, 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 boom. 5 shots, no sweat. Ooh, okay. Then I took some Hornady double-aught buck. Several years ago, Hornady introduced a blue shell and a red shell double-aught buck. The red shell was designed for semi-automatic guns, had a little bit more juice to it. So we used the red shell semi-auto stuff, and it fired, no problem. 5 rounds from a magazine, boom, boom, boom. Good to go. I'm like, okay. Now let's really see what's going to happen. So I had a box of Winchester Field Load, but it was marked as Winchester Field Load Light. I'm like, let's see. Loaded it in there, and brothers and sisters, it cycled. Boom, 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 boom. Cycled the semi-automatic action every time. The only issue that we really had shooting the light stuff is quite frequently on the last shot, the final shell would come out and it would pop against the action, and it would stick. It would kind of hang in the ejection port. Now the magazines, the Rock-In magazines on this Fury shotgun, they actually have a bolt hold open feature. So on the last shot, the bolt holds open, and that's really a good thing because it's tough to get a fully loaded magazine in on a closed bolt. It can be done, but it's not something you're going to do really fast. That gun is it's a lot easier to load it when the bolt's already locked to the rear. So I'll give you that much. But we were very excited. We put pictures up. When I got the gun out of the box, it was pretty dry. The bolt was pretty dry. So I pulled it out. I lubed it up with Frog Lube really well before we hit the range. And we didn't have. Do we have any? The only time we had issues is when I didn't make sure that the magazine was fully seated. It's
new gun.
Yeah, it's a brand new gun, and I thought it was fully seated. How many guys ever put an AK mag in and you think that it latched, and then you go pow and it falls out and you look like a dummy? You're like, don't I feel dumb? So as far as functionality though, and because it's a gas gun, it eats up the recoil of the double-aught buck really well. I mean, you're shooting double-aught buck. It's not a powder puff load, but it doesn't beat you up like, for instance, if you had a trap gun and you close that thing and fire double-aught buck, 100% of the recoil goes into your shoulder. So that was our initial. We went out there, we ran it. We only put about 50 rounds through it today, Friday, whatever. But we were impressed, and we're going to be doing a lot more with that gun. It's just a plain black color, and the Duracoat elf in me wants to make it a different color. So we're going to see if that's going to happen here sometime soon. All right, Frog Lube, Century Arms, we talked about those guys combining, working together. You check them both out. Well, A, froglube.com. That's pretty easy. And B, centuryarms.com. And then C, Duracoat or Lauer Custom Weaponry. And all right, I'm going to tell you. I've got Duracoat sitting on the can. I've got the can and can camouflage things. I've even got the templates. I'm going to strip that thing down. I'm going to clean it, get all the oil off it, and I'm going to Duracoat that gun. Because it's just a canvas. To me, it's a blank canvas begging to be colored. And once you've Duracoated a gun, it's like Jep said on Thursday, it's like getting a tattoo. Once you've done one gun, you start walking around looking at stuff. You're like, I could probably do that. I bet you I could do that.
Oh, that laptop case is plain black. I need to tiger stripe it.
Ooh.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Ooh, yeah. That is a cool idea. You got to be really careful you don't gum up your laptop. But if you're
you
careful,
have a case that you could take off.
we just you mean just pull the backing?
No, I have a case that I put on my MacBook.
Oh, you actually
Like
have a case that you can just pop off.
Pop off, yeah.
Oh, that would be pretty ninja.
Mm-hmm.
And I just farted around with my computer and was looking at the cover and
You shut it down.
I shut it down.
My name is Paul.
All right, well, I can reboot it.
That shut it down when you closed it? It doesn't sleep it?
Well, it slept it.
See, folks, that's the problem with PCs.
You're stupid.
You close them and they sleep.
And they
you
sleep.
open them and they take forever to open. For turn on.
Okay,
whatever.
Johnny Mac.
Johnny Mac. Hey, I enjoy mine.
All right.
You want to go ahead and
We got to do it. We're 20 minutes in. Let's do it.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Das geht an die Oma des letzten Propheten Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ich bin Allah so dankbar, ein Muslim sein zu dürfen. Das geht an die Oma. Wir sind die Oma. Check das aus. Bismillah.
You like that? All you religion of peace and brotherhood goat rapists out there, you like that? That was for you. That, and if you are new to the show, well, congratulations, because you just heard our first religion, well, not our first one, you just heard for the first time, the Religion of Peace update theme. All right. Step number 1. Jeez, there's
Take
so...
a deep breath.
Step number 1. Host, take deep breath. Step number 2, if this does not anger you, I don't even know what to say to you. Step number 3, if you think that this current... All right, here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about 4 United States Marines being gunned down by a goat rapist last Thursday last. And we actually... the news just broke right before we did Friday's show, right before we did Friday's bonus hour. And so we decided... And we knew there was going to be a ton of information available before we could get back to Monday, so... It's time to address it. It's time to deal with it. Number 1, is this the first time that uniformed U.S. military servicemen have been attacked in the United States by goat rapists, by Muslim missionaries? Okay, I'm sorry, by Muslim missionaries. Is this the first time? No, it's not the first time. Is this? Well, it might be the second time, Paul. No, it's not the second time. Well, is it the third time? No, it's not the third time. Not the fourth. Not the fifth. Not the sixth. Okay. It's been going on. This is a regular occurrence. The biggest one was what Comrade Barry referred to as the workplace violence incident, where the Muslim missionary walked around screaming, "Aloha snack bar," capping guys, killing, murdering soldiers, helpless, unarmed soldiers on Fort Hood. And because the media is filled with sycophants, they never pointed out, or they played along. They played along with the workplace violence thing. It's a lie. You've known it's a lie. It took years for that piece of human debris to finally go to trial, to finally be convicted. And in case I'm mistaken, is that piece of human filth still sucking up good oxygen off of planet Earth? Yeah, as far as I know. They haven't put a rope around his neck yet, have they, Jared? No, they haven't put a rope around his neck yet. You really want to be insulted, America? That piece of human filth sat in prison for, what, 2, 3, more than 3 years awaiting trial, getting his officer's pay out of your pocketbook. Yeah, your taxpayer money went into that piece of human filth's bank account. Yeah. Oh, it's just an isolated incident of workplace violence. No, it was not an isolated incident of workplace violence. It was terrorism. It was Muslim terrorism, and it's not surprising. And the United States Army, to its great shame, let that happen. They knew he was a whack job. They knew he was a piece of crap. They knew he was worthless, but they were so weak and afraid. What have I been telling you? What have I been freaking telling you? They were so weak and afraid. Well, he's a Muslim missionary. We can't say anything to him because the commander-in-chief has ordered us not to profile goat rapists. So We just have to let him hang around. They knew he was a turd. They knew he was a bad dude. They didn't know he was necessarily going to be a murderer, but they knew he didn't belong there. But they didn't have the guts. The United States Army is being run like a corporation, like a politically correct corporation, not like a fighting unit. So what happens? Well, that happens, and the Army goes off the rails and starts treating every soldier like a potential terrorist. Not every goat rapist, not every Muslim missionary, but every soldier. They make their anti-gun policies even more strict, because that's what saves people's lives, is anti-gun policies. Yeah, we know that, right? Well, then we had additional shootings of recruiters, men in uniform, by goat rapists, by Muslim missionaries. We had guys sitting in a restaurant being gunned down in uniform. This has been going on. We've been talking about this. We have Fort Hood Part 2, right? And
real quick aside, if you guys haven't seen the ISIS flag explained yet, you need to Google or Duck or whatever search engine you use, do ISIS flag explained, and it is it's very revealing.
Yes, it is very revealing. You need to go look at that. So after each and every one of these incidents where it's obvious to anyone with their eyes open and that doesn't have their cranium up their rectum or Comrade Barry blinders on, it's obvious that these people are targeting, these monsters are targeting soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines in uniform, right? Deliberately, because they get extra, like, jihad points for killing Americans in uniform. And you say, well, when Fort Hood went down, my relatives, who, you know, I'm the military guy in the family, or I'm one of the military guys in the family, and, you know, relatives and friends are like, I don't understand how that could happen. Aren't there soldiers? Don't they all have guns? No, they don't. And they're like, what? They were dumbfounded. How is that possible? How is it that active duty soldiers are all, the whole place is disarmed? Not one gun amongst them. And it's crazy ironic that we just talked about this with Colonel Grossman about the military's being afraid of its own troops. And the changeover from World War II era, Korean War era, to the Vietnam and current era, when the generals all got together and decided that little Johnny PFC can't be trusted with a loaded gun. What the hell is little Johnny PFC doing there? Well, he's just a pawn for us to use in our little games. And I'm sorry, folks. I'm off. I'm done. I'm done with convention. The conventional United States military today is upside down. I almost said a bad word, Jared. It's upside down. It's being run by politicians, by politically correct weaklings that don't have the courage and the guts to stand up to these scumbags. The scumbags in Washington, D.C. that are trying to destroy our military from within, trying to turn it into some sick, twisted social experiment. But they view them. Did you read the weakness article? You didn't? Well, you're wrong. You can fix yourself really easy by going to the Student of the Gun /blog. It's out there. Read it. I talked about this. So here we have yet another instance. Now, after Fort Hood Part 2, they were throwing, there was stuff in the stories in the media about, well, the Army is considering a plan to possibly allow staff NCOs and officers to carry guns during certain hours and duty and blah, 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 blah. They're thinking about it. They're pondering it. I was watching the Communist News Network because I was in a restaurant eating lunch, and they had it on the TV, and they had a very, very concerned congressman on television saying that they're examining, U.S. military examining security measures in wake of. Are you crazy? Are you an insane person? How stupid do you think the United States of America is? Apparently, we're pretty stupid. Because after every one of these instances, what do? We're currently considering a plan where maybe increase, and they want to they want to make new rules and this and new this and new that. Folks, bottom line, if your heroes in uniform, if they cannot be trusted to possess loaded guns, they got no business being in the United States military. Oh, you just can't let soldiers. What you want? You want soldiers and Marines to have access to guns? Yeah, kinda. Isn't that the whole point of them? And Mr. and Mrs. America assume that soldiers and Marines and so forth have guns. They assume that when your little Johnny, little Jimmy, little Susie, when they join the Army, the Air Force, Marine Corps, whatever, they assume that they get, well, don't they go through training? Don't they go through, like, military gun training? Yeah, they do. Well, I don't understand. They go through the gun training, but they're not allowed. No, you don't understand. The military is not being run by warriors. The military is run by politicians. Politicians who have really cool uniforms and shiny stars on their collars, but they're still politicians. What? Let me break it down for you like this. Beirut, 1983. Marine barracks blown up. An incident that really hurt Ronald Reagan. Hurt him to the core. If you know anything about Reagan, that was one of the things that happened during his presidency that really left a scar on his heart. All those Marines were killed by a truck bomb. And because the sentries out there at the end of the road had empty rifles. What? Wasn't that a hostile environment? Well, it was freaking Beirut in the 80s. Yeah, it was pretty damn hostile. Why would an officer put soldiers, Marines, servicemen out on a security post with empty rifles? I'll tell you this, because they don't look at it from the viewpoint of what can I do to keep the little PFC guy? What can I do to keep terrorists from killing him? They don't look at it like that. They look at it like this. If I allow the PFCs and privates out on guard duty to have ammo, then they might have a negligent discharge. And if they have a negligent discharge, then the officer of the guard and his commanding officer, they have to write a report. And, well, God help us if little Jimmy PFC, if he shoots somebody, then we really have an incident. And I might lose some promotion points. I might not get promoted to captain, to major, to lieutenant colonel, whatever. I can't risk my little PFCs and privates out there. I can't risk them having a negligent discharge. I can't risk them having a bad shooting. You say, but what if they die? That doesn't even occur to them. And don't go ahead and write me letters. I've been there. I've done that. I'm not coming to this table from a hypothetical experience. I was there. It never even occurs to them that a bad person could kill their little PFCs and privates and lance corporals and so forth. That's not even in their thought process. Their thought process is, how do I cover my political rear end? And I cover my political rear end by making sure that the sentries out there don't have ammo. Or if we really have to give them ammo, we make sure that they have half-loaded guns. They're forbidden to load. You can put the magazine in, but don't chamber around. You get into this idiocy of military condition codes. Is that a condition 1 rifle? Is that a condition 2 rifle? Condition 3? Condition 4? It's nonsense. It's nonsense. And it has nothing to do with keeping our troops safe, making sure that they can fight the enemies of our nation. And you say, Paul, well, this incident in Chattanooga, the guy drove up, he opened fire on there, and then he drove away, and he shot some more people. So it doesn't matter if they had guns or not. Yeah, it's a good thing that they were all disarmed, because we wouldn't want to give them the opportunity to fight for their own lives. Fort Hood, Part 1. You know, what was it? Was it a freaking Waffle House or an IHOP? It was some kind of a breakfast joint where a dude walks in and 5 guys at reservists in uniform are sitting there, and he just opens up on them. Jared, you helping me out there? I don't know. It was a Waffle House or something. It doesn't matter. We don't want to even give them the opportunity. Guns don't solve problems. No, letting goat rapists and Muslim missionaries and psychopaths run around free in your nation because you're afraid to offend them, yeah, that's what solves our problems, right, America? That's how we solve our problems, by making sure that our enemy knows that we don't want to offend them. A man suspected of gunning down 4 Marines in Chattanooga worked at a Franklin industrial plant. The company confirmed on Friday through local authorities. Yabba dabba doo. Mohammed Yusuf Abadaba, blah, 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 don't care. This is sick to me. This is sick and disgusting. Those 2 turds that tried to go on a rampage in Texas, in Dallas there, your FBI knew about them. They knew all about them. They knew who they were. They were aware of their presence. They knew that they were chirping online with all their Muslim missionary goat rapist buddies. And what did your Department of Homeland Security do to protect you from that? Nothing. That's exactly right. Nothing. Because in America today, if you have a Confederate flag, we can go to your house and we can take it from you. We can take your private property. If you're angry over something that someone told you, even though you don't have any facts, we'll give you space to destroy. But if you're a Christian baker and you hurt someone's feelings, well, we're going to destroy your life. However, if you're if you're a Muslim missionary, a member of the religion of peace and brotherhood, you can do and say anything you want, right up to killing our people. And then even when you do, we'll make excuses. The Communist News Network was all awash with the gun. How did he get this gun? What kind of gun was it? Gun. Who cares? How does that change anything? Oh, because more gun laws keep us safe, right? Because bad people won't get guns. I mentioned this to Jared at lunch, and I said, Jared, did you notice after the Charlie Hebdo, there was actually 2 attacks. There was one at a Jewish deli, and there was the other one at the Charlie Hebdo offices in Paris. And the guy who went into the deli and set to killing people had some serious hardware. And I said, did you ever notice that the media really didn't focus too much on the guns or the hardware that guy had? And he said, yeah, they really didn't talk about it. You know why they didn't? Because France has serious hardcore gun control. And if they focus on... That guy didn't walk into a gun shop and buy those guns. No, they were supplied to him by his goat rapist buddies. Gun control laws do not stop terrorists. Okay? What stops terrorists? Well, should I even talk about it? Should I even mention the fact that I addressed this 10 years ago? And I addressed it again this year?
Yes.
All right.
Why wouldn't you?
I don't know. I don't even know why I try. I don't even know why I bother. Why am I even wasting the oxygen to form these words? Because what is going to change in America? Nothing. We're going to rub our hands together. We're going to let these idiots get on their CNN shows and MSNBC
I just got done reading
shows.
That article. That's what I was over here doing. And
were you reading the?
My head was exploding.
And we're going to do the exact same crap that we always do. We're going to blame the gun. We're going to look for reasons behind it, other than the fact that these Muslim missionaries are evil. Yeah, they're monsters. They're evil. And we've invited them to come into our house. This is like inviting a rabid dog into your living room, and then he craps all over the place and attacks your children. And you're like, what's up with that? I was being really nice to that rabid dog, and it bit my kids and pooped on the floor. I don't understand. So you let all these psychopaths, these 7th century monsters, come into your house. Then they start killing your family. And you scratch your head, you're like, I don't understand how this could happen. Let's talk to the director of the Department of Homeland Security. Why did this happen? Oh, we're investigating. Investigate yourself, you worthless turd. I'm going to drink some coffee.
You know what pisses me off?
Tell me.
We just had, that horrible human being in Charleston. And immediately they're like, oh, it's racist. We got to remove the flag, blah, 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 blah. And then this goat rapist
Muslim missionary.
Yeah, the Muslim missionary kills Marines and wounds other people that are our family, our American family. And, but we can't rush.
We don't want to rush to judgment.
They already have an entire article discounting the fact that this dude was a terrorist.
Well, we don't. Listen, the insurgent in chief went on TV to say this was a lone gunman. Yeah. Let me guess. Let me guess, Barry. This is an isolated incident. This is just one of 1,000 isolated incidents. We're living in bizarro land. And you know why we're living in bizarro land? Because the population of the United States of America is weak. Because you're more concerned about your comfort than your country. That's what I said. I said, this nation is filled with people that are more concerned with their comfort than their country. Oh, when's the iPhone 7 come out? Did you see the new blah, blah, blah? Fantasy football, dancing with the whatever the hell. Hey, your nation's falling apart. There are like thousands of rabid dog monsters running around free in your nation because we just welcomed them in. They're killing your family members. Yeah, but I have my fantasy football scores to look out for, or baseball, or whatever weird, stupid fantasy thing is taking your time out today. Oh, did you see my brackets? I got to work on my brackets. Yeah, work on your brackets. Work on your brackets some more. How many people you know? Hey, I know that most of you are part of the choir. I get it. I dig that. How many people you work with, they're your relatives and your friends, they hit you up with this, oh, my brackets, or my league, or my blah, blah, blah. You ever want to grab them by the collar and say, hey, bro, are you gonna play your fantasy football on the train on your way to the camp? Don't worry, there's showers at the end. Okay. Yours truly, a guy who looks a lot like me, wrote a book, and we released it this year, at the beginning of the year. It was right around December, January time frame, called Patriot Fire Team.
Was it this year?
Yeah, it was. We did it. We did the promo in December.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
December, and then we launched the original promo was in December, and then the paperback was available in January.
Wow.
Yep. So
that feels
2015
like it was last year.
But anyway, so because here's what I know. I know this for a fact. I know that the good people who are listening to my voice are frustrated. You're beyond frustrated. You're ready to like put your head through a wall frustrated. And you're saying to yourself, well, all right, Paul, smart guy. You point out all these problems. What's the solution? I'm going to tell you what the solution is. Quit looking to the top. Quit looking to the Capitol. Quit looking to D.C. to fix itself and fix the nation. Not going to happen. I told you before, there is no crisis in Washington, D.C. There is no economic problems. They don't worry about this. That's something for the peasants to worry about. They have money. They have really expensive condos and cars. They go out and they have cocktail parties. They eat Kobe beef, all on your dime. There is not a problem in D.C. They don't understand what you peasants are crying about. Stop looking to the top. Don't expect your problems. Don't expect this nation to be fixed. Don't expect the republic to be preserved from the top. It's not going to happen. It's going to happen through you and your community and your family and your friends. That is the only place it can happen. Everything else is a waste of time. Are you frustrated? Are you angry? You feel like you should be doing something, but you don't know what the heck you should be doing? And yes, this does apply. I want you to go to patriotfireteam.com. Jared, did we decide that we're going to give everybody... There's a little sign-up thing there. You put your first name and your email address, and you get a how to get started. It costs you nothing. Are we going to give them the last chapter of the book? The last chapter of Patriot Fire Team is called Defeating Terrorism in the 21st Century. And quite frankly, I laid it out.
Here, what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do.
You tell them I'm going to drink coffee.
I'm not going to make it super easy because we already have that we already have that list set up for the total number of subscribers for the Patriot Fire Team. So what I'll do is go to patriotfireteam.com, click on the tab that says, what should I call it real quick?
Your face, I don't know. Defeating terrorism, I don't know.
No, that's too long. Free chapter.
Free chapter.
That's also too long. It'll say something like that. Get your free chapter.
That's longer than what you just said, you hippie.
It'll say something like that. You guys are just going to have to...
Is it going to be a big yellow button?
No, it'll be a tab on the top of the site. Click it. It'll take you to the page where you enter your information, and then it'll automatically... Once you enter your email, it'll automatically send that chapter of that book to your email address. Because right now, if we do that, it would be too hard for me to do it with the already existing list.
Okay.
So
all right. Whatever works for you. You're the one working the invisible buttons behind the scene. It's called Defeating Terrorism in the 21st Century. It's chapter 9. It's the last chapter in the book.
I'll call it Freebie. The tab will say Freebie. Freebie.
Okay. There you go. So you heard it. Go there. Go to patriotfireteam.com. There'll be a tab. It'll say Freebie. You click it. You put your first name and your email address, and it'll auto send. They have to confirm it, right? They have to.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
It'll send a confirmation email to you, and you have to confirm
it. Okay, because that way we don't have people spamming other people. That's the way it works. I believe that that chapter, the information in that chapter is so important that I want you to have it, and I'm going to give it to you for nothing, free for nothing. You're welcome. Those of you that already have the book, congratulations. Go back and read chapter 9. Your mind is going to explode. You're going to say, what the heck? All right. What else can you do? Well, I don't know what else you can do. I mean, we tell you, we talk about it. Stop allowing your weak politicians, stop allowing them to vacillate. Here's the deal. I don't expect that your politicians and don't expect them to do anything. They're gonna wring their hands. They're gonna get in front of the cameras. They're gonna say how sad they are and how sorry they are. And I saw another thing on that Communist News Network. It says, are very concerned over this. Horse crap. Where was your concern 10 years ago? We're so concerned until something else happens to distract the ADD squirrel, and then we'll be on with that. You know what's sad, Jared?
If they were really concerned, then they would have fixed the problem before it happened again.
Oh, you can't fix the problem. We can't just, kick out all these, foreign invaders. We can't? No, we just can't. We can't allow the Marine soldiers and so we can't allow people in the armed forces to actually have guns available to defend themselves. You don't understand how dangerous that is. It's better to just go ahead and let them get gunned down periodically. And we'll give their moms and their wives and husbands, we'll give them flags. We'll give them flags, and we'll tell them how sorry we are.
Dano's going to be ready for a call in a couple minutes. So
okay.
He'll be on with us tomorrow.
All right, that's it. Dudes, I'm sorry. I'm out of time. Thank you to brownells.com, to velocitytriggers.com. Check those guys out at both of their websites, Brownells and Velocity Triggers. Crossbreed holsters. You carrying a gun? You should be. If you're not, get a Crossbreed holster, put a gun in it, and carry that turd, and then get out and train. We hope you heard us. We hope that you heard us on Saturday's July 18th episode of God and Guns, but it's a podcast, so if you missed it, just go back and listen.
Yeah, you go to God and Guns Podcast.
God and Guns Podcast.
They're also on everything that we are. I'm pretty sure the iTunes, Stitcher.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're on their July 18th episode.
And I'm going to go ahead and shut my mouth, and in honor of the fallen Marines, my brothers in arms, I'm going to go ahead and play this, and I'm not going to say anything else. Talk to you tomorrow.